If you want to know the absolute truth about backup generators, do not ask the sales guy at Home Depot. Ask the emergency electrician working the overnight shift. Ask the commercial generator technician who spends 60 hours a week diagnosing failed units in hospitals and fire stations. These men and women see the catastrophic breakdowns that happen at 2 a.m. during the blackout. They see the melted alternator windings. They see the seized engine blocks. They see the catastrophic design flaws that corporations spend fortunes trying to bury. And if you ask any veteran generator technician what brand sits in their own garage, you will notice something striking. They do not own the inverter generators that dominate YouTube reviews. They do not own the Wi-Fi enabled smart units. They run old, heavy, brutally simple mechanical boxes because the people who repair generators for a living know exactly which machines are designed to fail when you need them most. Today we are opening that blacklist. I'm going to walk you through the 3 catastrophic failure modes hiding inside the most popular backup generators, the specific brands that will abandon you in a blackout, and the 3 machines that actually start when your food is rotting and your sump pump has stopped running. Number 1 on the blacklist, the Honda EU 2200i inverter generator. Walk into any outdoor power equipment dealer and the salesman will point you directly at the Honda EU 2200i with a $1,200 price tag. It weighs 47 pounds. It runs whisper quiet. It has a pure sine wave inverter that marketing claims is safe for sensitive electronics. To a generator technician, this machine is the most expensive lawn ornament you will ever buy. The engineering fraud here is thermal load mismanagement. The EU2200i is rated for 1,800 watts continuous. That sounds reasonable until you try to run actual emergency loads. A full-size refrigerator pulls 700 watts running, but spikes to 2,200 watts for 3 seconds when the compressor kicks on. A sump pump pulls 800 watts continuously, but the startup surge demands 3,500 watts for half a second. The Honda cannot deliver that surge. The inverter board is designed for steady laptop charging and tailgate parties, not the brutal cyclical demands of a home under blackout conditions. What happens in the real world is this. You lose power during a storm, you fire up your Honda, you plug in your refrigerator, everything seems fine for 20 minutes. Then the compressor cycles, the generator bogs down, and the inverter board throws an overload fault and shuts off. You reset it, you start it again. The cycle repeats. After 6 hours, the tiny 0.95 gallon fuel tank runs dry, and you are outside in the rain at midnight refilling a screaming hot machine every 3 hours. Meanwhile, your food is spoiling, your basement is flooding, and you just spent $1,200 on a machine that cannot handle the job it was purchased to do. Generator technicians know this. That is why they run machines rated for double the wattage they think they need, with giant 7-gallon fuel tanks that let them sleep through the night without refueling in a thunderstorm. Number 2, the Generac Guardian series whole house standby generator. If you want a permanently installed backup generator that starts automatically when power goes out, every contractor recommends a Generac Guardian. It is a 22 kilowatt natural gas or propane unit that sits on a concrete pad next to your house, wired into your electrical panel. It promises to keep your entire home running during extended outages. It costs $6,000 to $10,000 installed. To a generator technician, this machine is a ticking time bomb. The catastrophic flaw is the transfer switch. The transfer switch detects when grid power fails and commands the generator to start. It contains motorized copper contactors that disconnect your house from the grid and reconnect it to the generator. In commercial installations, these contactors are massive industrial components built to cycle hundreds of thousands of times. In Generac Guardian consumer units, they are lightweight, cost-optimized parts designed to meet a price point, not a lifespan. Here is what happens. You install your Generac, you test it once, it works perfectly, then it sits idle for 18 months. During that time, the copper contactors oxidize. When the power finally goes out, the transfer switch tries to close those contactors, but the oxidized copper creates electrical resistance. That resistance generates heat. The heat melts the copper. The contactors weld themselves into a half-closed position. Your generator roars to life outside, but the power never makes it into your house because the transfer switch has fused itself into a useless blob of melted metal. The replacement is a $900 transfer switch assembly, and you cannot get one during a regional blackout because every Generac dealer within 200 miles is back-ordered for 6 weeks. You are sitting in the dark with a $10,000 generator screaming in your backyard powering absolutely nothing. Number 3, the Champion Dual Fuel Inverter Generator. Dual fuel generators have exploded in popularity. Brands like Champion market machines that run on gasoline or propane with the flip of a switch. The sales pitch is brilliant. Gasoline goes stale after 6 months, but propane lasts indefinitely. You can store a 100-pound propane tank and know your generator will fire up 5 years from now, except it will not. The engineering disaster is carburetor contamination under propane operation. When you run a generator on gasoline, the fuel contains detergents and lubricants that keep the carburetor clean. When you switch to propane, you are burning an ultra-dry, ultra-clean fuel with zero lubrication. Propane burns 150 degrees hotter than gasoline. That extra heat bakes the tiny brass jets inside the carburetor. Microscopic deposits of carbonized residue build up. Second, propane contains no lubricating compounds. The rubber diaphragm and O-rings inside the carburetor start to dry out, crack, and disintegrate. What this means in practice is brutal. You buy a Champion dual fuel generator. You run it on propane during a 3-day outage. It works great. You shut it down and put it back in storage. 2 years later, the power goes out again. You roll the generator outside, connect your propane tank, pull the starter cord, and the engine fires for 10 seconds and dies. You pull again. It fires and dies. The carburetor is clogged with carbon buildup, and the internal diaphragm has turned into cracked rubber confetti. The generator is inoperable. The technicians know the truth. The entire backup generator industry is built on selling you the illusion of preparedness while engineering the machines to fail under the exact conditions you bought them to survive. If you want to beat the blacklist, you need the Blackout generator counterstrike. Stop buying undersized inverter generators. Stop buying automated whole house systems with fragile transfer switches. Stop buying dual fuel gimmicks. You need 3 specific machines that technicians actually trust. Generator 1, the Yamaha EF4 500ISE. It is a 4,500 watt inverter generator that weighs 194 pounds and costs $3,800. It is not portable, it is not quiet, but it has a massive 4.5 gallon fuel tank, a commercial grade Yamaha MZ300 engine, and an inverter board designed to handle sustained surge loads without shutting down. Technicians run this machine because it starts on the first pull after sitting for 2 years, and it runs a refrigerator, sump pump, and window air conditioner simultaneously without choking. Generator 2, the Kohler 14RESAL. It is a 14 kilowatt air-cooled standby generator with a Kohler Command Pro engine and a heavy-duty Kohler RDT transfer switch. It costs $5,000 plus installation. The difference is the transfer switch. Kohler uses industrial-grade contactors rated for 100,000 mechanical cycles. Technicians install these in hospitals and fire stations because the transfer switch does not weld itself into a blob after 18 months. Generator 3, the Honda EB5000 without the inverter. It is a 5,000 watt contractor grade generator with a manual recoil start, a 6.2 gallon steel fuel tank, and a simple brush style alternator with 0 electronics. It weighs 248 pounds. It sounds like a tractor. It costs $2,400. Technicians keep this in their garage because it has no computer, no inverter board, no automatic choke, and no failure points. You pull the cord, it starts, and it runs for 11 hours straight on a single tank of gasoline with fuel stabilizer. You trade digital convenience for mechanical permanence, and you keep your family safe when the grid goes down. If you made it this far, hit subscribe. I cover the engineering frauds hiding inside the emergency equipment you depend on every week.